I think I need a bigger workbench. Would you look at the size of this box? I mean, I can't even sit in my usual spot. How's it going, everybody? Greg here with RC Driver, and as you can see, I have the Arrma Kraton 6S BLX here on the workbench, and this is actually one of my favorite Arrma vehicles, so I'm actually really excited to get the 2018 version, which is this. I had the previous version, and I had so much fun with it, so I really just can't wait to get into this box to see what they did to it. Speaking of which, why don't we do that? I'm not going to go over the box on this particular one because, one, it's huge, and I don't know if I can get it all in the video. But number two, it's just a lot of pictures on the outside of the box. Very cool pictures. I like what Arrma's showing off here. Definitely shows off the features of the vehicle, but I think we should just dip right into this, and to do that, I'm going to throw it on that bench back there, and I'll show you what this kit is all about. So yeah, this box is just massive, and oh look, even the bottom of the box has some detail on it, which is really cool. So let me show you what you're gonna get. There's a truck right there, all packaged up nice and neat, and obviously it's got this bag of accessories and stuff like that. So let's go over that first. It's nice that they package everything nice and neat here, and the first thing I'm gonna pull out is the manual. And I always tell you guys this, read the entire manual. Arrma does a great job here. They really break everything else nice and neat. And this covers a number of different vehicles that they have there. So check that out, find your vehicle, go through that. We've got an instruction sheet here that tells you how to get maximum performance out of your vehicle here using the alternate pinion that they give you. So definitely check that out if you want to go fast. Speaking of going fast, here is that separate pinion gear that they give you to reach that high speed. And then we have some extra goodies in here. Looks like we've got some shock pistons. These are some battery plugs, so if you already have batteries for this vehicle that you want to use, but the plug isn't correct, this is an XT90 plug, you can go swap out your plugs. That's nice that they give you that. And then we have a bag of tools, and this is a pretty decent bag of tools here. This cross wrench, definitely going to use that. This helps get the wheels off. And then we've got some basic Allen wrenches and a basic smaller T-wrench. So those could come in handy. Don't toss those out, even if you are into RC and you have your own tools. Always good to have those things on hand. Let's check out this box right here. I'm going to bet that's the radio system. Things are falling out. All right, so yeah, that is the radio, and this is the Tactic TTX 300 radio system. Love this little radio. I've said that in a number of videos. Just really easy to use. Actually has digital endpoint adjustment inside, which is really neat. Then your basic trims on the outside, your on-off switches on the back. For those of you getting this radio for the first time, it took me a few minutes to find this switch. It's back here. And then we have the neutral switches, or with the reversing switches for your steering and your throttle. Runs on 4 AA batteries. You're going to have to supply that. And now I got to break this truck out of this box. And there, finally, the truck. All right, let me clean this place up. Now we get to see the truck, finally. Look at this thing. It is so cool. I love this truck. For a fun Truggy, it really packs a lot of features. Can't wait to tell you about that. First, let's check out this body. Very cool graphics on this. I was actually hoping for the red one, but they sent the green one. I'm cool with it. Looks pretty good. I do like it's got the little tethers for the body clips on here. Already decaled out. Then it's got this dual deck wing on the back. Very durable plastic on this. Hopefully the stickers stay on this. One of our other vehicles, the stickers fell off. The decals look really good, so I want to see those stay on there. But let's pop the body off because I want to see what's inside. I knew you guys want to see what's inside, and we'll talk about all the different features. And there's the truck. It's just so big. How do I show you guys this thing? So let's do what I normally do. Let's start off with the front of the vehicle, and right up front they have a new scoop style bumper on the front of the vehicle. This should help you get out of any nosedives. I mean, you know, if you're nosediving in to the ground off of a jump, always pull on the throttle, have the wheels pull you out of the jump. But just in case it does hit the ground, it's got the scoop style bumper up front. Pretty neat. And then let's move a little bit farther back to the shocks. They've got a 4mm shock shaft in here. Rubber boot on there, aluminum caps up top, and these little protectors for the top of the cap. So if you do go and flip this thing, land on the roof, body comes down, hits the top of the shocks, these little caps will do a little bit of extra protecting there. Then we've got the pivot ball suspension design. Love the pivot ball suspension design. Works really, really well. Very stout arms here. They have the pin to hold the shock in on the bottom with a screw in the back. Love that design as well. As you can see, there's a sway bar up front, very critical to have on a Truggy with this much power going through it, because this thing's going to be going wild. That'll give you some extra handling ability there. Then moving out to the pivot ball knuckle itself, they have a metal, or sorry, an aluminum arm going to the steering link. And then onto the steering link itself, obviously it's adjustable. The pivot ball is adjustable, so you could adjust camber through there if you want to, if you go and start tweaking this thing. So a lot of adjustability here. There's a little bit of racing design popping through here and there. Really thick shock towers up front, 5mm thick shock towers. These things are incredible. And there is a new design on the bulkheads, which is pretty nice. On the old one, there wasn't a lot of webbing. On the new one, there's a lot more webbing in the back behind the shock tower, just to boost up the durability of this machine. You know, they don't want you to break it, so they went through, revised some parts, so it makes everything a bit stronger. Another neat revision is these mud guards right here. I talked about the new mud guards on the new Arrma Kraton 4x4 Mega that I reviewed. Love mud guards, especially with something like this. These tires are going to throw a lot of dirt and debris, and this will help just reduce the amount of dirt and debris that gets into the chassis area. You don't want dirt in the chassis area, or debris, maybe rocks or wood chips or something like that, because it get into the gearing or maybe the steering. So they're trying to prevent that to happen. Things happen when you're out bashing. All right, so moving back now, we've got the dual Bellcrank steering with a aluminum upper plate, and then we have chassis stiffeners here. So these should also help improve durability of the machine, so you don't get any sort of chassis taco or anything like that, because if you're going for some big air, things do happen. And again, Arrma's beefing this machine up because they know you're going to go wild with it. I'm going to go wild with it. And now let's move back to this inner support here. Like, it's a cage-like thing. Basically, it helps support the body, so when you do land upside down, because it happens, you know, this will prevent anything from happening to anything inside the vehicle. Just a neat little feature that Arrma actually had on the last one as well. I do like that it's here again. Now, what do we talk about next? Let's talk electronics. So it does have a full Metal Gear servo in here, high torque, of course, and it has a aluminum steering horn. Very nice to see on there. On the opposite side, it does have a waterproof receiver box. This is a newly designed receiver box, actually. I really do like this new design because there is an individual plate in there that slides into a little key, and your receiver is mounted to that. So if you ever need to do any maintenance to it, instead of prying your receiver off with the servo tape, you know, sticking down to it and then having to peel the servo tape, now you can just slide the receiver out. It's attached to that little plate, slide it back in, it's nice and secure. Nice, Arrma, really nice. And what I also like is they now have the revised battery box in here. We saw this on the Outcast. Loved it on the Outcast. Nice to see it in here. It adjusts height-wise, so you can slide different batteries in here, and then it has the 3 Velcro straps to secure it. It even has these little boxes in the back with a rubber strap to help secure the balance plugs on the batteries, so they're not flopping around. Really nice to see. The chassis on this beast, this is a 3mm chassis and black anodized. Looks really cool. Now moving farther back again, we've got a 5mm shock tower in the rear. We've got those same updates to the shocks in the rear. Rear sway bars, really heavy duty rear arms. We've got dog bone drive shafts in the rear, steel dog bones in the center, and universals up front. And then inside we've got really heavy duty oil filled gear diffs. The gears inside the differentials are really well supported. Again, everything is done to make sure that things are gonna last. The drivetrain is beefed up. Drivetrains take a huge beating when you're running 6S through it, so it's all beefed up to take care of that power. Speaking of the power, I missed talking about the motor on here. So it is a 2050 kV sensorless, brushless motor. And then we've got the BLX 185 speed controller over here with a fan on it to keep it cool. Everything is waterproof on here. So yep, go run it in the mud, go have fun whenever you want to. Arrma is really looking to just deliver non-stop action. And what is also pretty cool in the action department is this new rear bumper. What do you mean, Greg? How could a rear bumper deliver action? Well, it's actually got these little holes in the bottom of it, and you could stick flints in there. And so when you land off of a jump, it could throw sparks out of the back. That is a pretty neat little feature. Just kind of cool little detail Arrma throws at you there. And then finally, we've got these meats on here, and the tire is called a Minokawa. I don't know. But anyway, it's got a really cool tread pattern to it and should deliver a lot of traction on a number of different surfaces. And I'm really just excited to see what this thing is going to do, to see if it is better than my previous Kraton. Let's go outside, have some fun at the BMX track. Yes, I could still say without a doubt that the Kraton is still my favorite Arrma A-scale brushless vehicle. I had so much fun with this thing. I don't even know where to start to tell you how much fun I had with this. I actually went over to the BMX track, and when I got there, it was a complete mud bowl. And I was just like, oh my, I can't go and run this thing. And then I looked at the weather report and snow was coming, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. That's what this thing is built for. It's just built to go bash, run through the mud, have a lot of fun, big air, and that's exactly what I did. It was like it was really at home out there on a muddy BMX track, and it was so much fun to drive. Let me just break down the performance for you. So as you can imagine, the truck actually steers really well. They've got a great steering system on this vehicle. The servo had plenty of torque to turn the wheels. Even when the tires are kind of muddy, it adds weight to the tires. This truck just still steered wherever I put it. Whenever I needed it to turn, it would just turn without an issue. No worries about chassis roll causing any issues. This truck just steers great. Love it in the steering department. Now, let's talk about handling. Handling was incredible too. It was a muddy, crazy mess out there, and it's totally unpredictable what's going to happen to this on that type of surface. But I think out of all the battery packs that I put through this thing, I think I only had to go and flip it back onto its wheels maybe a half a dozen times, and I can't tell you how long I've run it. I ran it a bunch. It was just so much fun. Kept going back out there for more, and it just handles great. It just seems to fly through the air forever when you go off the jumps. When it lands, it just soaks up the landings of the jumps. It's very cool. Going through some of the rutted stuff. There was rutted stuff on the back road that I was running it on the BMX track. It was all beat up from people riding their bikes and stuff on the track, so there was a lot of ruts that this thing had to deal with, and I mean, it just soaked it all up like it wasn't even there. It was just very impressive. Really love what Arrma did, as far as updating everything on here. Now the power, oh my god, the power, just gobs of power on tap, probably more than most people can use, but it's all there. Running this thing on 6S, it was just insane speeds. Going off jumps and stuff, I was able to just rip on the throttle to pull the nose back up. I was able to slam on the brakes to drop the nose down, and it just did everything I needed it to do. There was really nothing in the performance department that I could really complain about. I mean, I just don't know if I could get it across enough how much fun this vehicle was and how much it delivered on performance for a basher type of vehicle. Now, the only thing, let's talk about durability. The only thing I had a problem with was I actually ejected the front body clips out of the car. Luckily they still have these little rubber tethers on them, and when they shot out, I was able to slide them back in. I actually slid them in the other way, but how it happened was I landed nose first into asphalt off of one of the big jumps. It was a hard hit. I thought I was going to go over there and collect parts, and all I had to do was slip the body clips back on. That's pretty impressive. The only other issue I had, and it's really not Arrma's fault, I don't think, is the battery connector came undone. Again, just overshot a jump, landed into one of the pavement berms of the BMX track, and it disconnected one of the connectors. Went over there, plugged it back in, kept on going, and didn't experience the problem again. Just happened once. Same with the body clips, but that was about it. And, the chassis seems totally fine. I mean, after landing, from this massive jump into asphalt, I really thought, I was going to collect parts and there was going to be problems. Nothing whatsoever to report. Arrma completely delivered again for an awesome basher vehicle. I love this truck and I can't wait till the weather clears up a little bit so I can bash a lot more. This is one exciting machine. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this review. Please click that subscribe button, hit the notifications bell. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video. Questions or comments, go below. And when you have some extra time, head over to rcdriver.com.